Hello friends, welcome back to the User Management System series. In today's session, let's list all the assigned permissions from MySQL database. That is good. As you can see here, we have combo box and we have simple table. Today, let's list all the users from MySQL database because based on the user, we want to display assigned permissions. So to list the user, as you can see here, we have that code because in the previous videos, we listed users. There is no problem. For that combo box, we want to use the same code. Okay. Before watching this video, I strongly recommend you to watch our previous video because previously we assigned permissions to users as well as to roles. Okay. Let's close the application, and here we want to open controller because first we want to fetch all the users. Simple. Let's open a XML file, and here we have assigned table. Let's find that. Okay, we have table, and here we have combo box assigned user. First we want to inject that. Let's copy name of that. Simple. Inside the controller here, simple, we have if XML annotation, then private combo box. To that, let's pass user model. Okay, everything is fine. Thereafter, let's list all the users. Simple, we have that code. We have load users method, and here let's copy these two lines. Simple. Instead of that, let's use same B. We have assigned user. Let's copy that. Okay. Thereafter, let's clean and build the project. Then we want to run the application to see the result. Okay. It takes some time. And here we want to enter username, then password. Let's log in. We have manage users. Then we have permission assignment. As you can see, all the users listed successfully. There is no problem. So thereafter, when users select user from that combo box, we want to list all the assigned permissions from MySQL database. Let's close the application. So thereafter, let's create model. Right click on that, and here we want to create Java normal class. For example, permission assignment. That is good. Okay, and here we want to define variables. For example, private, and we have permission id. Sorry. Thereafter, we have private, for example, string, permission name. Okay. After that, let's define constructor. Simple. Let's copy that name, and here we want to write public. We have constructor. To that, let's pass variables. For example, and permission id. Then we have string, for example, permission name. That is good. After that, let's initialize these fields. Simple. This dot permission id equals, we have permission id. After that, this dot permission name, equals, we have permission name. Okay. Okay. Hereafter, let's define getters and setters. Select that. Right click on that. We have insert code, and we have getter and setter. We want to select all, generate. As you can see, all the getters and setters are generated successfully. Let's remove from here. After the constructor, we want to define getters and setters. That is good. The model is completed. Here we defined private variables. Then we have constructor. After that, we have getters and setters. There is no problem. Thereafter, let's save that, and we want to open data access object. So in our previous video, we created data access object, and here we have two methods: assign permissions to role, and we have assign permissions to user. Let's define new method here. For example, public list. To that list, let's add permission assignment model, simple permission assignment. And here we want to add name, for example, get all permissions by user, or get, for example, assigned permissions by user. And here you want to pass integer user ID because you want to get all the permissions based on the user ID. So here we have simple problem. Let's correct that. Thereafter, let's define another list to store all the assigned permissions. Simple, for example, list. We have permission assignment, for example, list equals, we want to use array list. Okay, so that is good. As you know that we assign permissions to user as well as to roles. Let's define that query to get all the permissions from the user as well as from the role. And we define that query in MySQL database. Here we have simple query. You can get this query from the video description link. There is no problem. And here you want to change the static value to parameter. And here also we define user ID to places because we want to get permissions from the user permission table as well as from the role permission table. That is good. And let's copy that query. Let's define variable, for example, string scale equals. We want to paste that query. Okay. So thereafter, let's read database connection. Simple. We want to use try catch with resources. For example, connection link equals, we have JDBC connection class. JDBC connection class. Then we have get database connection method. Let's define prepare statement also. For example, ps equals, we have link. On that link, let's use prepare statement method. Okay. And here, let's define the catch block, and we want to catch scale exception. Let's add correct name, for example, scale exception. Inside that, let's display a simple message, for example, scale exception dot print stack trace. Okay. After that, as you can see here, we have two parameters. We have user ID parameter for the user permission, and we have user ID parameter for the user role permission. Okay, let's bind that. Simple ps.setInt of 1, and we have already user ID parameter here. There is no problem. Thereafter, let's add one. Thereafter, ps.setInt of 2, we have user ID. There is no problem. So after that, let's execute that query. For that, we want to take result set. For example, rs equals, we have ps, and we have execute query method. And here we want to use, for example, while rs.next. So thereafter, let's add all the results set to the list variable. As you can see here, we have list. Simple, for example, list.add, and we want to pass, for example, naive. We have permission assignment model, and to that model we want to pass permission ID and permission name. As you can see, we have constructor that accepts permission ID and permission name. There is no problem. Let's add that. simple. Sorry. And here you want to get value from the result set, simple. rs.get int of we have permission id. Thereafter rs.get string of we have permission name. Okay, everything is fine. As you can see here, we added all the data to the list variable. That is good. Thereafter, let's return that list. Simple. Return list. Okay, let's save the changes. After that, let's consume this method inside the service. We have permission assignment service class. Let's open that. And here, let's define a new method. For example, public, we have list, and to that, we want to pass permission assignment. And here we want to add name, for example, get assigned permissions, for example, by user. Sorry. To that, let's add, for example, and user ID. That is good. So thereafter, let's consume data access object method, which is get assigned permissions by user. Let's consume that. And here we injected data access object. There is no problem. Let's use return data access object. Then we have get assigned permissions by user. Okay, friends, as you can see, we consumed get assigned permissions method by user. Thereafter, let's open controller, and here in the first step, what we want to do, we want to inject table because table presents inside fxml file. As you can see here, we have table, we have assigned permission table. Let's inject that. We want to copy the name, and here let's inject that. Simple. We have, okay, let's copy the same code. We want to change only the variable name. Simple. And here to that, let's pass permission. We have assignment. Thereafter, we have table name. Let's copy that. Okay. And here we want to pass also permission assignment, then also permission assignment. Okay. Thereafter, let's copy these column names. Simple. We want to copy that. Okay. And let's copy assigned permission name also. Simple. So after that, let's define observable list to store all the assigned permissions. Let's copy the same code. Let's copy that here. Sorry, we have available permissions here, and we want to define new list here. Okay, let's add permission assignment. Thereafter, we have, for example, permission. Sorry, for example, assigned permission list. That is good. There is no problem. Okay, as you can see here, we injected table, then column name. After that, we defined observable list because we want to store all the assigned permissions. That is good. Thereafter, let's prepare the table inside the initialize method. We have similar code. Let's copy that from here, and here we want to write new code. For example, assigned permissions list code. Okay, and here you want to pass the same column name. We have assigned id. Okay, thereafter we have assigned name. Let's copy that. After that, we have table name. There is no problem. Then we have, let's remove that. Okay, and to that, let's pass this list, which is assigned permission list. Let's copy that. Okay. So thereafter, let's define handler method because inside the service we have get assigned permission by user method. We want to call that. Inside the controller, let's define handler method here. For example, private void get all assigned. For example, permissions, sorry, permissions by user. Okay. Okay, everything is fine. As you can see in the service, we have method that accepts user ID. Let's pass user ID also. Simple, for example, user and for example, user ID. That is good. Okay, after that, for the exceptions, let's use try catch block. For example, try, and here we want to find the catch block. We want to catch exception. Let's write, for example, sweet alert efficacy, and we have different methods. Let's use error. For example, here we want to pass title, for example, error, and here we want to pass message, for example, failed to load assigned permissions. Okay, and you can pass any message, there is no problem. Okay, thereafter, let's call the service method. We have get assigned permissions by user method. Let's call that, and we want to assign all the data to the observable list. As you can see, we have let's find that we have assigned permissions list. Let's add all the data to that list. Simple assigned permission list. We have set all method, and here we have service. We injected service, there is no problem. Let's find that we have permission service. Okay, sorry, we have assigned permission service. Let's find that we have permission assignment service. Okay, we want to use that. Then we want to call get assigned permissions by user, and to that we want to pass this user ID. So thereafter, let's register combo box with event because when user select a user from the combo box, we want to get all the assigned permissions from MySQL database. We have combo box, we have assigned user combo box. Let's register that inside the initialize method. Here, simple, we have assigned user combo box. We have set on action method, and here you can use different ways. Let's use lambda expression. Simple, for example, event. So thereafter, let's get selected user because based on the user we want to get all the assigned permissions. Simple, for example, we have user, for example, selected users equals we have cmb assigned user dot get value. After that, let's define condition. For example, if selected user not equals null, and here we want to call this method. Let's find that we have get all assigned permissions by user. Let's call that, and to that we want to pass we have selected user dot get user ID. Okay, so thereafter let's define else block. Else we want to clear assigned permission list. Sorry, we have assigned permission list dot clear. Okay, everything is fine. Let's clean and build the project. Let's run the application to see the result. Okay, let's enter username admin. We have password. Let's log in. Okay, we have manage users. We have permission assignment. Let's select user. Okay, as you can see, we got the data, but here we have a simple error because the permission is not displayed. Let's check the code. Okay, we have model. First, we want to check the model. Okay, we have permission ID, then we have permission name. Here we specified permission ID, then permission name. There is no problem. Okay, here we don't initialize this input fields, sorry, this property. Let's remove this keyword. Thereafter, let's clean and build the project once again. Let's run the application to see the result. Okay, let's add username. We have admin and we have password. Okay. Thereafter, let's select user. As you can see, we got all the assigned permissions from MySQL database. That is good. We have create new student and we have edit book details. That is good. Let's select Smith. As you can see, we got 3 records from MySQL database, create new student, create new book, and we have edit book details. Let's select that. There is no permission. Okay, let's select that. Okay, that is good. As you can see, we got all the assigned permissions from MySQL database. Let's add another permission because this user now has only 2 permissions. Let's add, for example, another one. For example, edit student information. Okay, let's fix that. Okay, we don't get anything. Let's select that. As you can see, now we have 3 records. Okay. Okay, friends, as you can see, everything is good and clean. We listed all the assigned permissions from MySQL database. If you have any questions, you can write them in the comment. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. That is enough for today. Have a good day. See you in the next one.